This is the Full Throttle podcast for Friday, March 1st, 2019. Hello, everyone. I'm Marty and NAPA, joined alongside NAPA fan. Sorry we missed you last week. NAPA fan was feeling a little bit under the weather, so we decided to cancel the pod. Plus, I was busy last week and stressed out, so we canceled the podcast last week. But we're back. NAPA, how you feeling, buddy?
A lot better than last week. I ended up with a sinus infection last Tuesday night. We had a snowstorm coming in on Wednesday, so I spent my entire Tuesday night at the pharmacy waiting for antibiotics. And it didn't get better enough until last Friday, and then, of course, Marty wasn't available. It was just a messy week last week, so we're sorry it's not starting off too well here for us, but we'll eventually get into a rhythm and start doing these every week for you guys. And I don't plan on having a sinus infection every week, but either way, how about that Atlanta race? We'll lead right into it.
That was a good race. That was great.
I enjoyed that one a lot. It didn't feel that long to me. I actually liked the length of it because I just wanted more of it. And I think it's not the full package, but I definitely liked where NASCAR went with it to start off. What do you think about it? I mean,
it's a good start.
Close racing.
It is. Yeah, it is a great start in my opinion. And I saw a lot of passing, not just the front of the pack, but in the middle of the pack as well. We almost had a big photo finish take place between Keselowski and Truex. Typical Atlanta finish from the early 2000s. But the racing from what I felt was just better than usual with the Gen 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I noticed in this race, and I never got to do my own little podcast thing that I do on this because I was just busy,
9 cents
sick and everything. Yeah, 9 cents. It's another thing along with Full Throttle. It's a lot shorter in case you guys haven't checked it out yet. But one thing I would have mentioned in there is that I noticed that guys, once they were into position, they tend to stay there, but a lot of those guys who were up front were guys you wouldn't normally see up front. Like, we saw Ryan Preece, we saw Daniel Hemrick, we saw Chris Buescher, and they didn't just fall through the field, they actually stayed in their position. So passing was very possible in the restarts. I think it got a little bit less frequent, but the thing is, all the cars were so equal to each other that, guys like Chris Buescher, Daniel Hemrick, they were able to run up front and have good runs. And I think that was what was so cool about it. And I think as the season goes along, we're going to see a little bit wider range of winners. I think that's going to be the best thing about this package because you even had Ryan Blaney leading the field. He actually took the lead from Harvick, who we all thought was going to dominate. And Blaney
Don't talk to me about Ryan Blaney, though. As you all know,
until he had his problem, So
as you all know, he's my guy. I wouldn't blame it on he did nothing wrong in general. It is the fact that Rick Ware Racing does not know how to field drivers by the name of Son Cody Ware and BJ McLeod. You know what? I should apologize for that. I shouldn't call anyone out because their dad races the team. That's just wrong, but. Well, Rick Ware Racing was just pretty much in another mess up on pit road this weekend. You could give it to both. You could give it to both BJ McLeod and Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece at first because number one, he was looking at his tack and wasn't looking ahead of him, and number two, BJ McLeod. How do you stop like that? He was like about to stop on the pit road.
Well, I mean, I think in BJ McLeod's defense, the sun was beating right on the pit lane.
That is true,
Sure. So just like a reference, I was coming home from work last night, right about 5:30. So that's about the sunset time over here, and I'm driving down, Route 1, and the sun is literally directly ahead of me, and I always wear a hat, so I'm tilting my head down, looking straight ahead. I mean, they don't have that visor, they don't have a hat to cover the sun. They just have the sunglasses and, whatnot. And I don't know how you could even see where you're supposed to be going. Now, still, I don't think it's a smart idea to stop in the middle of the pit lane. He probably should have just kept on going and missed his pit stall. But then on the same side, you had Ryan Preece look straight down, and that was sort of his problem there, too. So I look at it as a 50-50 situation Fortunately, kind of took Ryan Blaney out of it there since he was caught up in the middle of all that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you should really put too much on BJ McLeod. You know, he isn't like a pay driver. He's doing this because he enjoys it. You know, he's trying to work his way up the ranks and all that as an owner and everything.
Yeah.
I think the son, I mean, I think if you or me were, you know, on that pit lane looking out, we'd just be as confused as he was. So it's difficult when the sun's right in your eyes like that. So got to give him cut him a little slack, because I wasn't, you know, full 100%, you know, his fault, because there wasn't much he could do about it in that situation.
And you also have to feel bad for Kyle Larson. He had the best car out there, in my opinion. The second was probably Harvick, and then the third was Truex. And Larson was just, I thought he was going to win that race. I felt so bad for him when it was a penalty, right? A speeding penalty?
Yep, and that was actually like one of his few speeding penalties he has ever had. I mean, and like I said, you know, I think passing was definitely very possible, but it wasn't as frequent, and if you were in a position, you'd most likely stay there. So, I mean, Larson was obviously the guy to beat. Even though Harvick was able to surpass him eventually, Harvick faded away. Larson was going to win that race if it weren't for the speeding penalty, and we saw just how hard it was for him to move his way from the back to the front. I found that very interesting. You know, the whole effect of that race was like we had a lot of passing, but in reality, it was actually more difficult to pass, but in a good way almost. So it was fun to watch. But yeah, Larson finds some inventive ways to not win races, and that's a first for him, I do believe. But you know, I think he's going to succeed in one of these races, you know, throughout the season, given that you know, everything works out. But
yeah, definitely. I think he'll be. Yeah, I think he will end that winless streak this season. He's due up for it, man. I mean, it was a bummer that he did not win last year at Chicagoland, because I think that was the best chance he could have had to win the race. And but yeah, so I did not get to watch the Xfinity race.
I didn't either.
Or the truck race.
I was up in Jack Frost and in the Poconos, and like they had it on in a separate room, and you know, all I know is that Christopher Bell just smoked the field. So watch out for him this year. He is definitely the favorite, I think, in the Xfinity Championship. But
I also heard as well. So I was in Sailmaker for the snowmobile races, and our hotel room does not get FS1 at all.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
The hotel rooms don't have FS1?
Yeah. That's wrong.
And we're outside, so obviously there's no TVs. All the TVs are inside, like the lobbies and stuff like that, are tuned into the snowcross race, obviously.
Yeah.
But I guess I could talk about that maybe a little bit. But all I heard was about Xfinity that Christopher Bell dominated the stages, and I think it was like Tyler Reddick was had a good car as well. And then in the truck series,
I did see that, so I can talk about that truck race.
I heard we had 5 good laps, and then Kyle Busch just took the lead for good. Nothing against Kyle.
It was kind of like that. I think the restarts in that truck race were really fun. Like, they were all over the place and everything. And it was kind of spotty for me. I was watching it on my way home, and you know, the signal throughout that area isn't the greatest, but still, you know, Kyle Busch was definitely the guy to beat. I think he came down the pit lane to check on something, and he restarted deep in the field, and he just started smoking the field like he always does. But you know, you got to give credit to him. I mean, he just overtook Ron Hornaday as the all-time winningest driver in the Truck Series with that win, and I think Johnny Sauter was close. You know, he could have possibly, you know, gotten him if everything fell into place, but it was just going to be too hard to get him in that race. So, you know, he's only going to be in the next few races, and I don't think he's going to win all of them. So, but it was fun to watch that race. I always liked the effect, especially when it was like real foggy and it's dark. And it's a really cool race to watch, the Atlanta truck race, when it's like that. So, but yeah, that's about all that happened. Kyle Busch just dominated and won, and Joe Nemechek did an oopsie. That was unfortunate. And then they all did an oopsie on one of the restarts. That was, I think it was Jordan Anderson, maybe? I can't remember. They had a restart and they just all wrecked on the restart, and then they had like a bit of rain, and then they took half an hour to dry the track for 8 more laps, and Kyle Busch just won. So yeah, that was about it with the truck race, but it was still fun. It was still fun either way.
And I want to talk about Cup qualifying as well, because I was able to watch that the night before I actually headed out to Salamanca, and qualifying was actually, I was a big fan of it. I was surprised how good Michael McDowell did. Spoiler alert, even though it's not really a spoiler anymore, never mind. I had put him on my NASCAR fantasy lineup, and then I decided to put him on the bench. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I can recall from qualifying. And
I didn't really see it that much, but I do know that those Fords were pretty good in qualifying, and I'm intrigued about what's going to happen today with Las Vegas qualifying, because I heard that they were drafting in the first practice session. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if
I actually have the results. I have the results of the first practice session right here. RCR took the top 2. Austin Dillon first and Daniel Hemrick second. I'm going to assume that they were drafting together.
I didn't know Hemrick overtook Austin Dillon at one point.
Who?
I know Hemrick was like the fastest when I stopped watching. It was about halfway through the session. So they're both looking strong, the RCR guys. This
could be a package. So let's talk about the practice session actually right now. But yeah, we could see this package with the new tapered spacer and the lowered horsepower and stuff like that. This and the fact that it's pretty much full throttle throughout the entire track, we could see a few underdogs make their way up to the front. So like we just talked, Daniel Hemrick, he's in second. Bubba Wallace was 8th in that practice session, and he ran 12 laps. And a lot of drivers ran about low 10 laps, about 10 laps per session, mostly because they were doing mock qualifying runs. But that's Bubba was in 8th. Chris Buescher was in. Matt DiBenedetto 11th. Ricky Stenhouse 12th. Ryan Preece 13th. And then you have to go all the way. Let's go all the way down. Talk about some guys that surprisingly did not do so well in that practice session. Ryan Newman was 28th. Joey Logano 27th. Kyle Larson 26th. Paul Menard 25th. Kurt Busch 20th. Greg Keselowski 22nd.
You know, I will say the Penske guys were actually kind of slow in qualifying at Atlanta, and we all know what happened there. So
we made it up to the front.
Yeah, I mean, I think qualifying and the race are two completely different things. I mean, they're all in qualifying setups right now, and they switch over to the race setups, I think, only unless they do an impound. Are these impound races with all the stuff? Okay, I didn't think they were.
Because qualifying's on Friday.
I didn't think they were. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, that plays a lot into it. Qualifying setups and race setups are completely different. So I don't know even if these practice sessions that you're seeing right now are really going to be a true sign of what we're going to see during the race. I mean, I think Kyle Busch said that they're going to do a lot of the drafting tomorrow in happy hour. That's going to probably be more of what you're going to see come Sunday. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. It's going to be interesting. But I expect it to be very similar to like the trucks, and that Trucks at Vegas, which by the way is tonight. Watch it; it's going to be fun. That's always good, and I think it's going to be similar to that. And if it is, I think we're in store for a pretty good show on Sunday.
Okay. What was I going to say as well? So let's talk about some storylines that were in the NASCAR zone, that was in the NASCAR world this week. The big one, I would have to say right now, Kyle Busch just signed an extension with Joe Gibbs, and then the same with Mars.
Yeah, get those M&Ms and Snickers and Milky Ways and all that stuff. The pedigree dog food.
Not me, Sally.
Oh, you can't?
I have a peanut allergy.
Oh, okay. Well, to all our non-peanut allergy viewers, go ahead and get that. You can get pedigree dog food. You can probably eat that. But they're also Mars brand, by the way, surprisingly.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean that's a good sign. I mean, I think it's good. No matter what. I mean, Kyle Busch is at this point one of the most marketable drivers out there. Like, he's probably the household name. Him and Jimmy Johnson are probably the two household names left in NASCAR. Like, most good chunk of people have heard of Kyle Busch. So, I think that definitely works out for Mars and sponsoring Kyle Busch, that they see a lot of, potential in them, and they've obviously, I think the CEO said it's working. The NASCAR sponsorship is working. A lot of other companies, it doesn't look like that's the case, but it's good to see that work for them. And like I said, Kyle Busch is one of those top tier drivers. You want to sponsor Kyle Busch because most people outside of NASCAR are going to know Kyle Busch more than anybody else. So, it's great to see that. I mean, in the world where, all the sponsors are leaving, where everything's more expensive, all that stuff, it's good to see a sponsor stay on like that for that long. And, Kyle Busch is still young. I mean, he's mid-30s now? So he's still
like
got,
30.
He's still got
30.
at least
He's 33.
a decade left in his career, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's gonna stay at Gibbs his entire career, and, he's gonna be winning races a lot from now on, just like he always has.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean that's good news. I mean, I'm not a Kyle Busch fan in any way, shape, or form, but I have a lot of respect for him because I think truly, and I'm gonna say this right here, and a lot of people say that Kyle Larson has the best raw talent in NASCAR. I think it's Kyle Busch because
I have to say Kyle Busch too.
Yeah,
that man can drive.
Look at the way he drives. And look at what he's done, how consistent he is running up front, and he's been that way for a long time, especially past few years. He's gotten better. I just think he is the most talented driver out there. And that guy can wheel anything. And then too, that's why he's got that extension. That's why he's got the contract extension, because Mr. Gibbs knows that he is probably one of the best drivers out there. He wants to keep him, no doubt.
Kyle Busch said there was no way he was going to test the free agency market. We knew, and so we pretty much knew that was.
I wouldn't, especially if you got a ride like that. You don't do that. He is probably the best ride in the garage. So.
Yeah. I don't even know why we haven't mentioned this, but there was actually another race. NASCAR race happened at Las Vegas. Happened overnight.
Yeah.
Yes, and I actually decided to stay up and watch the K&N Pros.
I heard that thing started at 2:00 in the morning Eastern
time.
Time.
No, it actually started at 1 a.m. or something because of the Outlaws were racing so hard. They were racing so long they even ran out of fuel and they had to refuel the cars in order to finish. And at the end, in that Outlaw race, there was actually a last lap pass, and it was Donnie Schatz over Darren Pittman.
There were. I think I saw a tweet by Jeff Gluck said that the 3 races they had last night had last lap passes.
Last lap pass.
Yeah. So.
And adding to that, when I fell asleep, I thought I heard Derek Kraus won and dominated. So I said, "Okay, turn it off." Put my laptop off, going to bed. Then I wake up and I realize Hayley Dean won again.
She led 1 lap, by the way.
Yes, 1 lap. All she needed.
Is that how she won her first race too? It's just 1 lap?
I think when he won her first race, that was a 1 lap lead and won.
So I mean, she's obviously, I think, of all the female competitors that have come through, I think she's.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Well, I mean, she's already won twice.
I know, but true, but still, I don't want to say she's. I
honestly do though. I honestly think that I think she cares a lot more about racing too. I think that's a big thing, and she's definitely good at it, and she's doing the right thing. Just staying in the Pro Series right now. I'm not trying to move up too fast. I mean, heck, she's younger than both of us. That. She's got a long way to go, and I think she will be successful. Of course, her father, Brian Deegan, was very successful in, what was it that he did?
Torque, I believe it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, she has that family upbringing in motorsports, and extreme sports, things like that. So it's kind of in the family. So that's a good thing for her. But yeah, I mean, I think she's going to be a contender. I think she's going to be better this year than she was last year. Of the 8 K&N guys that raced in every race in the West Series last year, she finished like 5th of all of them. Mm-hmm. I think she'll be better this year. I think she'll have a good chance of winning the championship. And with that, I think she'll probably end up in a KBM truck. That's the way I'm looking at it, And another big thing, lead into this, Kyle Busch not being too happy with Todd Gilliland. I find that a little surprising. I mean, he hasn't really done that much yet, but...
actually, speaking of... sorry to interrupt you, but speaking of Hayley Deegan, I just got some news here from Tristan. He's reporting to me that Hayley Deegan's actually going to be running 6 ARCA races this season.
Oh, okay.
For Venturini.
Oh, well, that's the best team. That's like the best team, so...
Let me do some research on that. Look that up.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I think that's a good start too. Get her on some of those super speedways maybe, and
she actually announced that on Xfinity practice.
Ah, all right. Well, there we go. just while we're recording this, and right when we're talking about her, did he literally just send that to you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just did.
Tristan nailed it.
Good job, Tristan.
All he needs to do now is win a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. He's had 150 of those.
Come on, Tristan. Come on, Tristan.
A little bit of a sidetrack here. I posted in the
I'm ready for it.
Like all the full-time non-rookie active drivers in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. He's 150. Next guy is 108. Garrett Sonora. He needs to get one. He needs to get one. Come on, Tristan.
He's like the Chase Elliott of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series.
He's worse.
He is worse, yes.
Chase Elliott's won. He needs a win. Like, come on. He's got like.
And how many years has he been racing in Chick-fil-A Cup Series for?
Since season 3. He's been in every race since the beginning.
3, 4, 5, and this is season 8, right?
Yeah, so it's 150 points races. He's got a lot of NAPA fan wins, but he hasn't won a Chick-fil-A Cup Series points race in 100.
So he's like the Dale Earnhardt of the Daytona 500 then.
It's worse than that. It's like J.D. McDuffie.
J.D. McDuffie.
I mean, that's how serious it is at this point.
I got it.
Win. That's all there is to it.
I got it. You ready? Michael Waltrip.
All right, season 9 next year.
Did I just read it? For him. How many starts did it take Michael Waltrip before he won his first... before he won the Daytona 500. I'm going to look that up right now.
Just like Michael Waltrip won an All-Star race before he won a points race. Tristan Allen won the All-Star race last year. So.
It took Michael Waltrip 462 consecutive Cup races without a victory.
So I'm going to have kids by the time he gets a win. Is that what it's going to come down to? That's going to be a long time from now when we hit that many.
And Michael Waltrip started... Cup racing in 1985.
Wow. That was 2015 for Tristan. We had 2 seasons in 2016, and then we only do 1 season a year now, so he better get a win this year. That's just all there is to it. Let's just hope he does that.
Easily.
But either way, we're talking about Hayley Deegan.
We're losing track here, dude.
Sorry. Hey, it's still racing. It's still racing. We don't have any rules on this podcast. But no, I think I hope that our starts are going to be like in super speedways because I mean she's turning 18 this year, pretty sure. So get her on some of those mile and a halves, get her feet wet in some of those races, because she hasn't, driven on those big tracks yet. I like to see what she can do on those big tracks. And
she's turning.
I think she's got a lot more potential than Natalie Decker, because I think a lot of her talent, or a lot of her prestige, comes from actually winning that race. That really boosted the popularity of her, and now that she's won a second race, we know that she's pretty good at this point. So, also, first female to ever lead in the championship points in any NASCAR series. That's a big one.
That is true.
Even though it's only after the first race, it still counts. Still official.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she is. She's gonna be turning 18 on July 18th. And speaking of birthdays, let's give a shout out to Mr. Bob Pockris, turning big 50 today.
Hey, funny thing. My dad's 51. He So my dad's birthday's February 29th. So he doesn't really have a birthday every year, but it's technically today, I guess, and he turned 51, so he's 1 year younger than my dad. That's pretty cool.
So he was born February 29th,
Yeah.
you said?
Yeah.
Wait a second. So he was born on Leap Day?
Yeah.
So what's 51 divided by 4 right now at the moment?
Let me figure this out. I have such an old phone. I'm getting a new phone here soon. This iPhone 5C has been with me long enough.
So right now,
51 divided by 4.
Your dad should be, if it was like
13
actual
next
day,
year.
yes, about 13 years.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so he's pretty much but yeah. Oh leap day. But yeah, happy birthday, Bob. Hope your 50th birthday is going very well.
Mm-hmm. It is your birthday.
I talk with him a lot whenever I see him at the racetrack. He's just a great guy.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
Yeah. But anyway, what else could we? What else is there in the NASCAR world that we could talk about?
This thing's getting kind of funny.
Oh, the Stenhouse! Oh yeah, the Stenhouse rivalry versus Truex.
This is oh boy, and I actually got to be honest with you, I'm siding a little bit more with Stenhouse on this one.
Yeah, same here.
Big of a bonehead driver as he is, oh my goodness, Truex, I used to love you, man. We have the same birthday, and then where did it all go? I don't know. I mean. I don't know. The way I look at Truex, he looks like the kind of guy who feels like he's privileged. Like he feels like he's privileged to be there, and everything should go his way all the time. And I mean, a lot of people don't appreciate Ricky Stenhouse. Understandably, he's rather aggressive, but I don't think that Stenhouse deserved any slack for trying to race him. I mean, he was probably. What was he, on the tail end of the lead lap? Or he had actually gone a couple laps down or something like that. But, like, you know, he has every right to race him. I mean, Ricky Stenhouse is, technically a good top-tier car. Technically. I mean, Roush isn't what they used to be, but, Stenhouse doesn't want to be lapped by him, He's going to race him, so. Yeah, that whole thing, I don't know. Truex is taking it too far, in my opinion. He needs to chill out just a little bit, He'll get a win this season. I mean, it's like guaranteed that he will. But yeah, that's fun. That's funny. What do you think about that?
Oh my gosh, Stenhouse is just being so ridiculous about this. Blocking. It feels personal. It feels like a personal rivalry, but it's not. It's just do your talking on the racetrack, pretty much. Even though Truex
he drives a Roush car, so it's kind of hard to talk with that thing.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. We haven't talked yet about the news about Elliot Saylor.
Oh, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Back to good old.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. That's cool.
I thought he was done.
Yeah. I think he wants to win Richmond really bad. That's a big one.
Because he's never won at Richmond before, right?
I don't think he has. Let me.
And Colleague Racing has actually improved. Colleagues actually improved a lot on their cars this season. Because we saw. Yeah, we saw Justin Haley and Ross Chastain each win both stages.
That was at Daytona. At Daytona, things are a little bit different.
True, yeah.
I don't think he has ever won at Richmond. He really, really wants the Richmond win. He's won at places pretty similar, like Phoenix. That's probably the most similar racetrack on the schedule to Phoenix or to Richmond. I don't think he ever won. Oh, he has won Iowa. So he's won Iowa. That's definitely the most similar track. I mean, I think he wants to have that chance to win at his home racetrack, and he never got to do that. So I think he's probably going to keep on trying until he finally gets it. But we'll have to see. I think he has some good potential to do something. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. And I'm looking forward to Dale Jr. I think, didn't he announce this week that you're doing the Darlington race?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. With the way Junior raced at Richmond, I would love to see if he can pull it off at Darlington. So yeah.
We also had the Daytona 500. We never got to talk about that.
Yeah, we never talked about it at all last week. Oh wait, we weren't on last week.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a great race. I thought we were having the best Daytona 500 ever.
One of the best. I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but
it's not the best ever. Definitely the most insane I've watched since 2012.
I mean, I think the past couple have been a little insane. But,
like 2012 was the most insane.
For me, the race went downhill after the big crash. Like, I mean, the Benedetto wreck, so that's a negative automatically. But they didn't even get another full lap in
until overtime, right?
Until overtime after that. So that's when it really just all started to go downhill. It was going so well, and then that happened. But congratulations to Denny Hamlin. I think, of all the drivers in the field, I think he deserved it quite a bit. That might just be his last win in the Cup Series as well, so he better cherish it, because that boy, we were talking about Christopher Bell earlier, he smoked the field at Atlanta. He's coming for that 11 car, and I don't think Denny's going to do much other than that Daytona 500 win this season, so I think he's going to be getting the boot. I mean, he will go somewhere. I don't know where he'll go, but yeah, this is probably going to be Hamlin's last season. I just don't see it happening with Christopher Bell back in there. And Christopher Bell's going to have 2 seasons in Xfinity full-time, at least. So he's going to be ready for that Cup ride. No question about it.
Yeah. But yeah, the Cup race was... my heart broke when Benedetto spun.
Yeah.
He was having the race of his life.
He was having the most laps in that race. I mean, come on.
Yeah, 49. And then the Xfinity race was meh, but I'm very happy for Michael Annett. After all the stuff that's happened in the past few years, it's good to see him finally get an Xfinity.
He's a great guy. Not a great guy, but he's a great guy. He definitely deserves a victory because of his personality. And then if that bad race, I mean, I'm not one to complain about a bad race like that. I mean, it is what it is. You're given what you're given, but it was good to see Michael Annett win that race, and that probably his only win. But it is cool. It's good to see guys like that get a win. Like Michael McDowell a few years ago, that was cool. He got a win in Road America. Like Jeremy Clements, these guys, they might not ever win again. This is a very special opportunity for him. I mean, I'll take back to one of my probably my favorite moment in NASCAR history that I witnessed myself was not Trevor Bayne, surprisingly. It was actually when David Reagan won at Talladega. That was the second time he won. Well, he only won Talladega once, but the second time, his second Cup win. He hasn't won since. I really cherished that moment for a long time, and I still do. And, it's kind of cool. It's like, these guys, these low-key guys, it's cool to see them get a win because that might be the only win they ever get. So it's good to cherish them and respect them for when they happen. And just like Reagan, that really stuck with me very close, and it still does to this day. It was one of my greatest moments of my life, honestly. It was like so cool seeing those guys come through and win that race.
Yeah.
But still, it was great to see Michael Annett win as well, and we should cherish it because he probably won't get another one. That's just the sad truth. I don't see those guys picking it up too much.
And then the truck race was just complete fireworks. Wow.
So I watched that one with my dad. He thought that was crazy.
My goodness, that was just good for Austin Hill, but oh my gosh.
I'm not trying to crap on Ryan Truex here, but in that Shigetori ride, Ryan Truex was in that thing a full season. Didn't get a win. Brett Moffitt goes in it, wins 5 times, and Austin Hill wins in his first start. I don't know if Ryan Truex is good. I think he's a really good driver, but something about Ryan Truex. Why can't he win? think he would have been able to win in that ride. Maybe, I think another thing is, too, I think they have gotten a little bit better the past couple of years as well. I think Brett Moffitt definitely brought a lot to that team physically, and of course, Austin Hill, took over the championship ride, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, but I feel bad for Ryan Truex not being able to ever, take advantage of the opportunity he had, and then all these other guys, end up doing real good in it, and you see where Ryan Truex is now. I want to see him get a good ride and, it to be stable. So, we'll have to see. He's in a junior motorsports ride this year.
Yeah.
Isn't he going to be racing this weekend?
Who, Ryan Truex?
I think might be racing at Vegas this weekend.
For Xfinity, you said?
Yeah. In the number 8.
No, Zane Smith is.
Zane Smith. I know Truex is going to be in that number 8 soon. I just don't know when it's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that truck race was bonkers at Daytona.
Right now, by the way, in that Xfinity practice, Justin Allgaier is the fastest.
Justin Allgaier.
Yep.
There's no surprise there. Kyle Busch is also in that race, too. So
he's doing triple duty this weekend.
Oh, wow. You know what? He's going to sweep the weekend.
You think he's going to sweep? So you're just going to make your prediction, say he's going to sweep the weekend?
Yeah, okay, there's my prediction. What's yours? I made it
All right,
easy.
wait. First off, who are your? Let's just say who are your dark horses?
All right.
This weekend,
okay.
Let's go from truck to cup.
We'll go with the dark horse for trucks here at Vegas. My dark horse for the truck race at Vegas, and this can kind of be any dark horse. He's never won before, but I'm saying this is a dark horse for a reason. Stuart Friesen.
I know what you're going to say.
Stuart Friesen.
Yep.
He did really well last year. He's a dark horse because he's never won before. I think he's just been around so long, people are kind of just tending to forget about him a little bit here, but he will definitely be running up front and have a shot at the win, and he might finally
get a win this season. Mark my words. I told him that last year when I met him, and it didn't happen, unfortunately, but it will happen this year.
Yeah, well,
we'll
have to see.
But Xfinity,
I'm not. How about you go? You go for the trucks.
Okay. So Friesen is not my dark horse, but I think he's my winner this week, and I'm just gonna keep picking Friesen at every track that he's good at. I'm gonna take a guess for you that Stuart Friesen is gonna be your highest running truck.
My highest running. Oh, regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can say so.
Okay.
I mean,
and then my dark horse.
I think Kyle Busch is going to be the winner. I think Stuart Friesen is my dark horse. So.
My dark horse for this weekend. This is going to be tough to say. However, though, I'm going to say it. Looking at their second practice session, Ross Chastain was 8th fastest. And we know where he has won at before.
He did good at Atlanta last week. He was running top 10
where did he
truck
finish?
Race at Atlanta. I don't know where he finished. Let me see. But he finished 6th. He finished 6th at Atlanta.
He finished
in that
6th?
truck. At Atlanta too.
That's
a good pick.
Truck?
Yeah. 6th.
Okay,
now,
that's my dog.
I think that truck might have GMS support now, so that might be why.
Let me look.
Let me see.
What is it? Nice Motorsports?
Yeah, they have a technical alliance with GMS Racing, so
that's probably why. Yeah,
that's definitely why. But
GMS is really putting up those technical alliances this season.
Yeah, I mean they cut down their team, but they pretty much are every other team in the series at this point.
Yeah,
that's a very, very good pick right there.
All right.
Good pick.
Let's go to Xfinity.
Xfinity. Like I said, Kyle Busch. I said he was going to sweep the weekend. He's going to win the race. I mean, that's a pretty good pick. Dark horse. I'll go ahead.
Wait. Cup regular.
What?
Cup regular. Not. Why did I say Cup? Xfinity regular.
Sorry, I have to pick a highest Xfinity regular. Yeah. Well, since Allgaier is fastest in practice, I guess we'll go with him. But that almost doesn't count. I don't know. That doesn't sound right. It kind of takes away the dark horse pick almost. I think the dark horse. Truly going around. I look at dark horses a little bit differently than others. Like, my dark horses might not necessarily seem like dark horses to many other people, but I'm saying Tyler Reddick, and the reason why, because RCR hasn't been the greatest past few years.
Yeah.
And Reddick didn't win all but 2 races last year, the first one and the last one. He's not very consistent with it. So considering Kyle Busch is in the field, I think that's a big reason why. Let's say Tyler Reddick's my dark horse for the race.
My dark horse is going to be Zane Smith.
I almost said him, but I
it's
really
because he's
don't
got that
think
junior motorsports power.
I don't think he's going to have a shot. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'm just going to say he's my dark horse for this weekend.
All right. But
and moving on to the Cup Series.
What about your race winner, man?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't get that.
Forgot about him. Kyle Busch.
All right.
Highest running Xfinity regular, I'm going to say Justin Allgaier, and then my dark horse is Zane Smith.
All right.
All right, moving to Cup, but before we do, I would love to give people a shout out to this one fantasy app that I've been playing. Well, it's not really Fantasy Live, but for those of you that play that props challenge on NASCAR.com, I have found a similar one where you can actually play in groups. It's called Tally. It's actually founded by quarterback Russell Wilson, and no, I am not being sponsored by Tally. I am just a fan of Tally.
But if Tally wants to sponsor us, we will gladly accept your money.
Yes, I've even told them if you guys want a promotion, let me know.
We got to get the podcast popular first. It's got to go on my channel here soon.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's a little props challenge game, and not only a lot of sports from NFL, NBA, NHL, and they've even got. They even have entertainment predictions, like The Bachelor or The Masked Singer or something like that. How do you play it? It's easy. You predict what happens during live events. Score points for being correct. The more points you score depends on what people are saying. So if you pick something that's like less popular, you'll get more points. The player with the most points will win cash. And they have a game for NASCAR, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a little group, or I should say a party, and the winner of that party will get bragging rights.
But no cash?
For that. No. I may do a prize maybe at the end of the year, depending on what happens. But yeah, I'm gonna start a party up, and I'm just gonna have some fun, and it's just weekly. It's not like a league seasonal thing, so it's just weekly.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do another promotional video about that tomorrow. So yeah, you already said your Cup prediction. Who's your dark horse?
Dark horse for Cup, and I can go pretty dark horse for Cup because of what we saw last week. Daniel Hemrick. He was doing good. He was doing good in practice. I think he might have a shot at finishing second, probably, because he's never won in top 3 series, which is surprising. But he's definitely a lot better than
out. And then DW freaks out about him. And then he's going to jinx him on the credit one bank wants to watch, and then he'll spin out. And DW goes, No! Come on! Are you kidding me? My pick, Kyle Busch. My dark horse is going to be Matt DiBenedetto because I recall one YouTube video that I was watching, and DiBenedetto was leading at the front of the pack. Well, he was at the start of the fast racing, and he was actually up in the front of the pack for a while. So he's going to be my dark horse to win. DW, do not jinx him like you did in the Daytona 500. I blame that Daytona 500 because of you jinxing him. So, yeah. By the way, I'm going to turn my webcam on here. I just want to show you people this. But I just got a... wow. You like the new hat, by the way?
Yeah, you were talking about it before we started.
Yeah. But NASCAR Authentics, by the way, on the bright side, they have 2019 got diecast out, and I just got the Stenhouse one with the Mustang.
Did they have the 2019 rules package on that thing? No, it doesn't look like
yes,
they do. I can't.
They got the bigger spoiler.
Do
know
they
if you
have
can
like
look
a little
closely,
bit
but like
clear polycarbonate on the top?
the splitter is bigger. No, but you can tell they got the newer one because they got the bigger spoiler on it,
Spoiler. I'm talking about
and
spoiler.
it's not with the Denny Hamlin or because it still has the small spoiler on the back of Hamlin, and
They have an advantage.
yeah.
That's why
So
they're
like the
so
Toyotas and
displayed on
the
the side.
Chevys, they still have the same thing, but I think with the Fords because it's like brand new for them. I think they have that with the newer package and stuff like that.
They also have
Speaking of which,
trucks. They also have trucks
trucks,
now too.
trucks,
And so you got
yes,
the Menards on your hat there. I know that's a Ryan Blaney hat, but you also got the
Matt
Menard
Crafton.
or no, not Menard. Crafton. Crafton and Chase Briscoe when he drove at Eldora. But
Yeah,
knowing my
definitely.
Walmart, I don't know. My Walmart might still have all those old Dale Jr. ones from the end of 2017. Like my Walmart like took forever getting last year's waves out. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to possibly getting those trucks. Those are gonna be
Me
cool.
too. I think I may just call Walmart and be like, "Hey, can you guys just call me when you guys have truck diecast, and I'll just be on my way." Well, they do it by driver, so it'll be like M. Crafton or C. Briscoe. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the second episode of Full Throttle. Join us next week, hopefully.
Hopefully, I do not plan on having another sinus infection. It might be
we
the middle
will.
of the week too on my channel. Finally, that's actually what we're like aiming for is like middle of the week and alternating channels. I don't want to upload on my channel on the weekends because that's when all my races go up is on the weekends. So,
Yeah. We'll be up. We'll be hopefully in next. Continue that West Coast. For Napa, I'm Marty. This has been Full Throttle. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Alrighty.